Right now, 8:46 this summer, millions of Americans will be traveling for vacation, but it'll be different this year. AAA is predicting that Americans will take 700 million trips this summer. Most of those will be by car. Joining us now with some travel tips to make your trip on the road a little safer and more convenient, Don Redmon with AAA. And this is going to be a big driving year because, I mean, a lot of people are still afraid to fly.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the car has always been the preferred mode of transportation, but on a typical summer, we would see about 89% of travelers using by car. We're forecasting about 98% of people to be traveling this summer to be traveling by car. You're right. They're still afraid of flying. And of course, cruises are out at least until the later this fall.
Yeah.
So those two big drops. People are not flying and not using alternative forms of transportation.
And people who had been hoping to maybe take a flight to Europe, they say we Americans can't come there. So most of the options are going to be in America. And I know because we're going on vacation in a couple of weeks, you try to rent a cabin someplace or even a place on the beach. I mean, everything is booked.
Yeah, you really have to plan in advance. You know, some of us are kind of afraid of the virus and think that, well, maybe it's a spur of the moment. Well, hey, let's go. And that could be a bad idea. We really encourage you to plan well in advance because, as you mentioned, so many restrictions now.
And when you do get on the road, if you plan on eating at a restaurant in other states or even staying at a hotel, a lot of things have changed.
Yeah, again, hotels can be at full capacity, so they're going to have limited number of rooms. Now, obviously, we encourage that if you are going to travel and stay in a hotel, that you book those well in advance so you understand the restrictions, and of course bring some disinfectant wipes with you so that when you get into your room you can kind of wipe everything down. It's just a different time right now and you have to take a lot of extra precautions.
And you guys are the experts on traveling. I mean, how many as compared to other years, like how many more requests are you getting for information about hitting the road?
We are right now, at least out of our Metairie office, people are really ready to travel. Tennessee is one of our hot destinations for our local AAA members, as well as you can imagine, the Florida coast. Yeah. But Tennessee more than ever. That's where people right now are heading for the hills, so to speak.
And yeah, and that's Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, all those places. And it's because people just want to get out, you know, and it's kind of nice because you want to be like in a cabin or something like that. But I mean, they really are booked up fast.
Yeah, they do. And that's why if you're planning to travel sometime this summer, you're probably behind the eight ball right now, but start making those plans now. Don't think you can just say on Wednesday, say, hey, let's do something this weekend, because as you mentioned, it's just going to be nearly impossible to find any place to stay.
What other changes do people expect when they do hit the road? And as you said, probably 98% of us are driving this year instead of flying.
Yeah, some of the changes you might want to expect, there may not be as many restaurants open as past, or if they are open, there may be a curbside delivery or drive-through. So there'll be a lot of eating in the car, so to speak. And of course, you know, you're seeing a number of service stations that have closed because of the pandemic. So make sure that you're well aware of the gas stations along your route to plan those stations, as well as where you're going to stay and where you're going to eat. Those kind of changes could be big. Also, if you're stranded on the roadside, you know, we strongly encourage you to make sure you have your phone and your charger there, but it may take a little bit longer because of limited personnel in some of those situations. So, you know, just be careful. AAA is fully staffed on its roadside, but if you have other plans, you know, just know it may take you a little bit longer. So bring a cooler with some water, cold water, because you may have to wait a little bit in the heat.
All right. So are you driving somewhere this year?
We haven't made any plans. We're trying to stay close to home. We got some local state parks like Fontainebleau or something. We'll get out for a little bit, but not any big destination this summer.
Okay. All right. And staycations are great here. We have a great area to visit, you know?
We are very lucky. We're very fortunate. We can have staycations, killer staycations.
All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And as we said, nobody knows the road better than AAA. If you'd like more information about planning a road trip, you can go to their website. We've posted a link to their website on our website, WWLTV.com. Just click on links on 4. April?